Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YEO 2030 Initiatives Global YEO Summit. Welcome, bienvenue, bienvenido, ahlan wa sahlan, bem-vindo, karibu, swagat. I am Matthew Breman, the Global YEO 2030 Director at Making Sense International, and we're excited to have all of you here with us. We're expecting a large audience today with more than 1,500 people registered from all parts of the globe. As you may know, the YEO 2030 initiative is taking a different direction than our past global summits. While our activities are still designed to share best practices on key issues affecting youth economic opportunity globally, through YEO 2030, we're also emphasizing youth leadership and concrete action among a broader community of stakeholders to address critical barriers in order to advance SDG 8. So I want to recognize all the work that's taken place to get us to this point. This past fall, from October to December 2021, our YEO 2030 partners provided financial and in-kind contributions to this initiative, as you see them here, by hosting a series of webinars and youth dialogues that highlighted key themes, activities, and learning that we have applied to the initiative, and you'll learn more about. I'll share more on this in a moment. As I said, at first, I'd like to set the stage for the day. For the next few hours, I'll be walking you through the agenda along with some related housekeeping. So remember, the objective here is to network, learn, and commit to action, and that's what we'll be doing today. That's the first part is what we're doing now, the welcome. And I urge you to stay tuned for our surprise guest. The second activity will be a call to action. So you will learn about the champions, the leaders of our activities and the working groups they are forming. You will be in separate groups. There'll be 4 rotations in 10, 12 minutes per session. So you will self-select into those rooms based on the topic and activities of your choice. We'll then go into a networking session where you will have the opportunity to network, collaborate in 2 30-minute sessions. One will be organized by role, and the other will be by your geographic area of interest. Networking is a major interest for attendees at any conference, and we want this to be an informal way for people to connect. So either you're by role, you're a young person, a practitioner, private sector, so on, or different part of the world, Africa, Asia, Latin America, and so forth. And then we're going to close with a reflection by another one of our youth activists on the day and the way forward. And there'll be some music by one of our youth activists, UN SDG ambassador and entertainer. So before we dive in, just a few housekeeping notes on how to best maximize the use of today's virtual event platform. The introductory and closing plenary sessions, such as this one, are available with live interpretation. Please click the live interpretation link in the session description below here. In addition, sessions are available with closed captioning. You'll see the CC symbol as well. To view closed captioning in your preferred language, you select the closed captioning button under the video panel. If you need American Sign Language, and those of you who need that should be seeing that now, that interpretation is available. Please email if you're having issues, and that can be dropped in the chat box at info@tslis.ca, and our team will be able to assist you. For networking, use the networking tab on the left menu to connect with attendees one-on-one and start private conversations. As you know, I just mentioned, we'll have opportunities to network in larger groups during the Networking for Collective Action session that I explained. And finally, don't forget to participate in the event gamification to win prizes. To participate, and I've seen many of you have already been quite active, you look for the gamification codes hidden in the platform and you join in the live and breakout sessions where you'll collect codes throughout the day. You enter these codes in the gamification tool. That's one of the sections there on the left. And that's a way to increase your score. And hopefully you can see yourself at the top of the leaderboard during the day. If at any time during the event you need technical support, our team will assist you through the tech support widget that's located on the left panel. So what is YEO 2030 all about? So I want to provide you a brief overview. This is all before we introduce you to our guests who will officially launch and inspire us for the day. I want to do some summarizing. So the first, if you go to the sort of overview slide, you'll see a challenge that we're addressing is we have a surging youth population. We have declining youth participation in the workforce. And the COVID-19 pandemic has made a challenging situation worse. So more young people than adults lost their jobs during the last couple of years. More than 40% of young people reported a drop in their income. So this gap that we're stepping in to fill is that we know many initiatives are aiming to address this challenge, but they're not sufficiently coordinated and are duplicating efforts and aren't effectively engaging young people in the process. And so that's where what we're doing to fill this gap. The path forward is creating this platform where we're uniting young people and the global ecosystem that you are all a part of, so we can better achieve sustainable economic growth and help advance achievement of SDG 8, all by 2030, as you know well. So the initiative, as you see here, is focused on doing three key things. First, we're partnering with young people to help define the challenges and the solutions. Two, we're addressing the key issues affecting youth and their access to economic opportunities through learning events and convenings and things such as that. And then we're collaborating with the global ecosystem, and that's all of you. Our key program pillars or thematic areas that anchor everything I just said, all of our work, are broken into three areas. One is ready for global workforce. So that's employability work, key issues that influence youth employment. Two is livelihoods through self-employment. That's entrepreneurship work. So these are policies and practices that support youth entrepreneurs and their businesses. And three, what we call global context matters. And these are industry systems, policies that impact youth livelihoods. And we have operating principles, and that cut across all three of these thematic areas or pillars. So if you see in the next slide here, the principles are, the initiative is initially basically intentionally focused on these three key operating principles. And the team, YEO 2030 team, wants to be held accountable by all of you, especially our younger stakeholders who have the most to gain and lose in all of this. So the first principle, if you move to the next slide, is amplifying youth voice. We want young people and youth leaders from around the world as key participants in discussions, convenings, and decisions that impact their livelihoods. Two is we want everyone to act collectively. We want the global community of stakeholders, YEO stakeholders, to jointly identify actionable ideas that are, as we say, big enough to matter and small enough to get done, and track progress on their execution over about a 12 to 18-month period. And the third key principle is collaboration. We want local, regional, global convenings, such as this one, that bring together key economic ecosystem actors to share learning, develop tangible actions, and advance scalable solutions in youth employment, entrepreneurship, and enabling systems. So what does this look like to date? So you see here on the slide, from October to December of last year, YEO 2030 partners, so these are youth-led serving organizations representing different regions you saw in the earlier slide, hosted youth dialogues with more than 200 young people from 18 countries. These were all facilitated by, with, and for young changemakers between 15 and 35. And also, during that time period, we had young people as key participants, important voices during more than a dozen solution session webinar panels and presentations. The participants were a global community of practitioners in our youth economic opportunity space who are discussing topics ranging from digital and green jobs to pay-for-performance vocational training systems and entrepreneurship in the informal economy, among others. The youth dialogues in particular highlighted the importance of the work that we are doing by capturing both the challenges, these are the barriers that young people are facing in finding decent work that grounds everything that we do, and the hopes and aspirations that young people have for their futures. And that's what motivates all of us here and keeps us going. And this is what everything they mentioned is front and center and what they have brought to YEO 2030. So I'd like now to have a listen to hear their actual voices from what we heard through the youth dialogues.
A good job for me is one that offers me an opportunity to have peace of mind,
where I'm assured of job security.
The place where I can feel respected.
That is really related to what I studied in school.
Akazi kose nakora nkoresheje amaboko.
E as garantias precisam ser de segurança, previdência e de remuneração justa. Não devemos simplesmente trabalhar para sermos felizes, mas ser felizes trabalhando.
People have to engage in decent work.
My time, my effort, my everything is valued.
So in order to achieve the SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth, the very first action to take is to get to know about the SDG 8.
El ODS 8 es importante para mí porque todas las personas tenemos derecho a tener un trabajo decente.
It will help reduce poverty and drive youth inclusiveness.
It protects workers' lives and gives a platform for the youth to upskill and be gainfully employed.
It's like a blocking tactic to us.
The limited capital that we have.
The competition is still between me and my fellow applicants.
You're still fresh from school, but they need like 7 years job experience.
Esas empresas tienen un top list de universidades en el cual el 95% de ellas son universidades particulares, en donde la pensión es el equivalente a 3 o 4 veces un sueldo mínimo.
Kuko bambona muri ya sura y'ubumuga kugira ngo bambonemo ubushobozi nibitsemo.
a clinical psychologist,
a social entrepreneur.
I want to be this great businesswoman in the whole of Uganda.
Gusto ko maging isang teacher.
Be working for myself.
Donde podamos crecer profesionalmente.
Stable job.
That you carry out with a passion of involving yourself and the community at large.
To be impacting the lives of young ladies.
Gain myself some amount of money as well.
So you see here that the young people, I hope everything that you heard from them resonates. And we took all of that information into 2022. It's been focused on acting collectively, as you see on the slide. January, we had a regional convening that brought together a global community of YEO practitioners and young people from 50 organizations in 26 countries. The majority of participants were under 35. Sessions were all facilitated by young people and designed to tackle the key issues you just heard arising from the dialogues and the webinars. And the result has been a curated list of actionable items. So those were all refined over the past several months, and all by the YEO 2030 community that will be moving forward. And that's all of you and led by our 10 champions that you will hear from later today. I want to give special recognition to these YEO 2030 champions who are with us today. You'll see on the slide both individuals and organizations they represent here who will be leading this work. You'll have a chance to hear from them, as I said, during our call to action session. And I just want to note here, we have Africa Skills Hub out of Ghana. We have the Education for Employment, which is a global organization focusing on the Middle East. We have the Global Apprenticeship Network focused on work-based learning with key linkages to the private sector, and we'll be working with their Guatemala representative. We have Generation Unlimited out of UNICEF, which you all know well. We have IREX, which is a global organization working with young people and elevating youth voice in all of their programming. We have Mingati, a Tanzania-based entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship venture. We have Palladium, a global practitioner with a youth development arm that is extremely engaged in our space. We have Synapse Center out of Senegal, which is focused on the entrepreneurs in Francophone Africa, West Africa in particular. We have Youth Business International out of the UK, which is a global organization working through partners, entrepreneurship partners, and have a specialty in mentorship for young entrepreneurs. And then we have the Youth Inclusion Network. That is an entity that bridges young people and companies in the workforce, focused on activity primarily in South and Southeast Asia. So it's a wide variety of partners, and we're certainly thankful for having them here, and you will be hearing more from them later today. And now for our third key principle, global collaboration, which is today's summit presenters. It's an opportunity for us to network, learn, commit to action, as I was saying earlier, with a global community of young innovators, global change makers, and leading technical experts from around the world that are dedicating to doing what we're doing here, which is advancing youth economic opportunity for achievement of SDG 8. So, central part of today's summit is hearing from our YEO 2030 champions who will inspire us in calls to action. My colleague Bantu Kumsa will introduce our special, our surprise guest shortly to kick that off. Yet let me first hand it over to Bantu, who will briefly walk you through our ecosystem map that will help ground the networking part of our day and that you can revisit and also explore post-summit. I want to thank you again for being here, and we wish you a fantastic time together. Thank you. Merci. Gracias. Shukran. Obrigado. Asante. And Honyabad. Over to you, Bantu.
Thank you, Matthew. Is everyone able to see my screen? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Bantu Kumsa, and I am the Program Associate for YEO 2030 at Making Sense. We are very pleased to have you all here today joining us for our very first Global Summit. Before introducing our exciting keynote speaker, I will briefly take you through our ecosystem map that Matthew referenced. The YEO 2030 developed this interactive ecosystem map as a resource for the initiative. The objective of developing the map was to have an easy way to see the key stakeholders operating in youth economic opportunities ecosystem. So youth serving organizations can identify opportunities for collaboration, and coordinating bodies can see gaps and areas of overlap. To pique your interest, I will navigate the map and briefly show you 3 different views by thematic area, ready for global workforce or employment work, sub-theme, and by geography or region. Our first view you can see on the map, ready for global workforce stakeholders. When we open the map, once we select our choice, we are able to see organizations who are working in the employment space ready for global workforce, as shown below here. When these organizations pop up, we are able to click on them for a detailed description of their organizations, including their websites, regions of work, and programming areas of expertise. For example, if we click on Young Africa International, we see here their descriptions of work, their categories, organization website, regions, their SDG 8 targets, scope of work, and specialties, sub-themes, as well as their thematic areas. We can also click on other organizations and see a web that they're connected to and other organizations that they work with. If we want, we can directly click on the website and go to their homepage and learn more about each of our organizations. Similarly, if we go to our next example by selecting Ready for Global Workforce as shown here and setting our sub-theme area to Youth Voice and Inclusion as shown here, we're able to see a list of organizations. To dig further, once we click on a specific organization in this view, you can see the partnership that organization has with each working in the same programming areas. You can click on the partnered organization to learn more about them. For example, we can click on Global Alliance for Youth. And once we click on it, we're able to see the sub-organizations that also do similar work that's connected to Global Alliance for Youth. And as we wish, we can move the map around and play a little more with it. If we want, we are also able to change a different, select both Youth Voice and Inclusion or social entrepreneurship and see what organizations pop up. For example, for our final example, you can see a legend that we have selected livelihood through self-employment and our thematic area to be social entrepreneurship. We can also you can also categorize organizations by selecting regions or organization websites. This categorizes each organization by color. So if we want to see global, it's in blue. If we want to see Asia, it's in yellow. If we want to see Europe, it's in green. If we want to see Latin America, it's in orange. If we want to see Southern Africa, it's in black. So we can click on each organization and see what they're working on and what other partnered organizations that they are connected to. This is a small sample of ways the ecosystem mapping can be used. To better understand how the map can help each of our organization, it is best to navigate it ourselves. For an in-depth look, we will be sharing the link as well as access code at the end of this conference, so please stay tuned. And now it is my honor to present to you A.Y. Young, entrepreneur, musician, entertainer, UN SDG ambassador, and inspirational speaker. Through his music, A.Y. Young inspires individuals and especially young people to recognize that there are all outlets for change. A.Y. Young has a message for youth who are not only excelling in their fields, but also for implementing partners who are potential to bring together youth around the world and give them opportunities to work on their passion, create new strategies, and solve global issues one step at a time.
A local hip-hop artist makes an international name for himself. He is the first artist to power his concert with 100% renewable energy.
It is a real honor to recognize Mr. A.Y. Young, the founder of Battery Tour.
It's incredible. Can't wait for you to see this. The United Nations is now throwing its support behind him.
Mr. Young has made a big impact in his young life, born in 1991. He's a singer-songwriter, a dancer, producer, entrepreneur, and sustainability advocate. He's staged and performed more than 800 concerts. He was named by the United Nations recently as one of 17 youth world leaders of the world. The only individual selected for that honor from the United States.
Forward to stimulating this local economy further, bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing businesses together, bringing the world together so we can make some change. My mission is to kind of break down these silos, these barriers, and build bridges to power collective action by bringing everyone together. It's going to be incredible. My work plan's in 3 different phases. I'm gonna make an album powered 100% by renewable energy.
Right now, A.Y. Young is working on an album based on the 17 United Nations goals. Major stars like Tech9 and Billie Eilish will collaborate.
There are 700 million people that are still living in poverty.
The whole premise of your music is about collaboration
100%.
and about getting excited. It's about going across the finish line.
I don't think anyone can disagree that everyone needs to have access to energy, water, food. My belief is that everyone in the world, we're all these outlets for change. It's A.Y. Young, founder of the Battery Tour, right here, guys, and one of the 17 United Nations Young Leaders of the World. It's great to be right here with all of you guys virtually at the 2022 Global Youth Economic Opportunities Summit. You guys might know this is hosted by the YEO 2030 Initiative and Making Sense International. And just to let you guys know, I believe everyone in the world is an outlet for change, right? And plugged into each other on the local level, on the community level, we can power real action. It's gonna take, though, all of us. working collectively as these outlets for change, using our passion, as you saw in that video. I believe, that we should be doing what we love to do to make an impact. And so, once we've discovered our passion, I think we can utilize that to take an action every day and do things like make impacts on the Sustainability Development Goal 8. But it's going to take the private sector, individuals, youth, organizations working together, every facet of humanity plugged into each other. Also powered by passion, right? Taking a collective action together to make this happen. To improve the workforce, to achieve SDG 8, to accomplish the global goals in general. And, at the end of the day, I'm really happy to be here to just inspire you guys to say, hey, we can do this, right? We can take a step every day toward our dreams and goals. We can use our passion to take an action, right? Discover what our why is. Speaking to the youth specifically, if you guys are listening, find out what your why is. You saw the video, my journey of discovering, what is my why, what drives me, and I use that passion to take an action every day toward sustainability, toward these global goals, toward goal 7, toward goal 8, right? I think that's the key of speaking for us youth is discover your passion, and you can do anything.
Great, fantastic. It's great to hear from AY. Many of you may understand how we're operating in today's environment. AY wanted to be here live, last minute travel, had him do this free tape quickly for us. He is an inspiring person. He's full of energy and passion. We want to thank him for his inspiring words. And he's an example for all of us. And many of you here today are doing the same thing, taking action. Stick around for more of his music, AY's music, later on. Just a quick snippet on AY. Many of you may not know, his work began as a scout, an Eagle Scout. This was an Eagle Scout project when he was in his teens. He's only about 30 now. And he's now bringing his talents to the world to see through his entrepreneurial ventures in music, song, dance, all highlighting his giving spirit and passion for making change and advancing the global SDGs. And as he mentioned in the interview, all of his concerts, more than 900 now, are 100% powered by renewable energy. He's got a truck, a battery-powered truck that he takes around in a trailer. Just a fantastic prelude to what is coming next. What we want to do now that sort of captures how he thinks, which is how we think in terms of collective action, and I think will resonate with us and what we want to do and be a nice way to kick things off.